The room fell silent when the Nigerian billionaire scoffed. His words echoed through the crowded boardroom like a slap to the face. "Ibrahim Traore is a nobody," he declared, his voice dripping with condescension. A puppet playing at leadership? But what Traore did next would send shockwaves throughout Africa, redefining power, dignity, and revenge in the most unexpected way. Introduction and setup: it was the year of upheaval. Across Africa, the winds of change blew strong, and nowhere was this more evident than in Burkina Faso. At the helm of this political revolution was Ibrahim Traore, a young, resolute leader whose rise had been nothing short of meteoric. Born into a country torn by struggle and strife, Traore had fought to bring dignity, justice, and hope to his people. In the capital, Ouagadougou, the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows over the grand building where the international conference was being held. The air was thick with the scent of fresh coffee and expensive cologne, mingling with the tension that crackled in the room. 1,000 voices hummed with anticipation. And then there was the Nigerian billionaire. His name was Usman Adewale, wealthy, arrogant, and accustomed to having the world bow at his feet. He was known as the puppet master of African politics, with his finger in every pie: oil, mining, government contracts. He had money, power, and influence. Everything a man could want, but he didn't count on one thing: the quiet fire burning inside Ibrahim Traore. And now, as Usman's eyes locked with Traore's, the moment of confrontation was inevitable. Conflict or challenge, it started innocuously enough. The conference was about African unity, about rising together, lifting the continent from poverty and corruption. But as the two men came face to face on the stage, the billionaire's words were laced with venom. "You're nothing but a child," Usman sneered, his smile a mask for the contempt that he barely tried to hide. A puppet for the masses, incapable of understanding real power. The audience gasped. In any other room, this could have been the moment that would shatter a leader's resolve, a moment that would humble even the strongest. But not Ibrahim Traore. His calm expression didn't change. He stood tall, his shoulders square, his eyes burning with a quiet intensity. He had faced greater challenges, more violent threats. This insult was nothing. But this moment in front of the world was different. This was not just an insult. It was an opportunity. An opportunity for Traore to show the world what true leadership meant. Midpoint revelation or twist the room fell into an uneasy silence. I was on Traore as he took a slow, deliberate step forward. The tension in the air was palpable. What would he do? Would he respond in kind? Would he lash out? Humiliate the billionaire in front of the world? But then Traore did something that no one expected. With a soft but steady voice, he said, "I am no puppet, Usman, but you." He paused, letting the words hang in the air. Like a weight, you are the puppet, a puppet to your own greed, your own ego. Gasps rippled through the room, and Usman's smirk faltered for the first time. Traore's words were sharp, and they cut deep. The Nigerian billionaire tried to maintain his composure, but it was clear his facade was cracking. "Traore wasn't done," continued, his words now laden with a sense of calm fury. "I do not need your approval. I do not need your money. I have is something you will never possess: respect, integrity, and the will to fight for those who have nothing." Climax emotional breakthrough. The billionaire's face turned pale. He opened his mouth to retort, but the words caught in his throat. For the first time in his life, Usman Adewale was rendered speechless. The crowd began to murmur, their whispers spreading like wildfire. But it was Traore who held the room now. He took another step forward, not in anger, but in sheer strength. His presence filled the room. It wasn't with threats or grandiose speech. It was with truth. "You think you know power because you control money," Traore said, his voice steady. "But true power is not measured by the wealth in your bank account. It is measured by the impact you have on the lives of others." He turned, addressing the room, his voice rising with each word. "I have lived the struggles of my people. I have seen their pain, but I will not stand by while men like you use your power to break them." Tears welled in his eyes, not from weakness, but from the overwhelming emotion of knowing that in that moment, he wasn't just speaking for himself. He was speaking for the voiceless millions who had suffered under corruption, who had been crushed by greed. Resolution and quiet closure, the silence in the room was deafening. But as the moment stretched, something remarkable happened. Usman Adwell, for the first time, looked around him. The eyes of the world were no longer on him. They were on Ibrahim Traoré. And in that brief moment, Usman realized something he had never considered before. True power wasn't in his money, his influence, or his wealth. It was in the respect, the love, and the unyielding strength of those who chose to stand by their principles. The billionaire left the stage, his arrogance shattered. As he walked away, the cameras caught the slight tremor in his hands, a man broken not by loss of money, but by loss of his own identity. Meanwhile, Traoré stood in the center of the room, calm and composed. He wasn't the man he had been when he first walked in. He had transcended his past. He had become more than a leader. He had become a symbol. As he left the stage, he knew that this moment, this confrontation, would echo throughout Africa. It wasn't just a political victory. It was a victory for the dignity of every person who had ever been oppressed by the weight of greed and corruption. Call to action if this story touched your heart. Consider subscribing for more inspiring tales of hope, healing, and unexpected kindness. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs it today. Let's continue to uplift and support those who stand for what's right.